love happy bubbles. Hi, and welcome to Something to Talk About. I'm Linda McNamee, and for the next hour-ish, as you saw from our introduction, we are going to find out all about the Burlington High School Robotics Team. So basically a lot of really smart people doing a lot of really cool things. But before we begin, I would like to invite you, if you have a question for one of our guests, yes, that is plural, you can always give us a call at 781-270-9199. If you have a suggestion for a future topic or think of a question when we are not live, you can always email us at talk@bcattv.org. I always am open to suggestions. So not only if you have a suggestion, please suggest someone who knows about that topic too. So thank you. I would like to thank the crew for this evening. We have the team Evan McNamee and Evan Peckham have given up their Wednesday nights to come hang out with us at BCAT. And Chris Flaherty, staff member extraordinaire, is making sure that Evan make everything run smoothly. And last but definitely not least, I would like to thank my husband Paul for staying home for daddy date night, even though half of the daddy responsibility is here at BCAT. So, housekeeping aside, now I want to introduce you to my wonderful guests for this evening. I think we have a new record. But we do have a lot. Thank you guys for joining. We have Arnesh. I have to look at my cheat sheet. Shefali, Rishitha, and Dillan. So thank you guys for coming. And I love the matching shirts. Do you guys get to design like a new shirt every year, or do you have to like use whatever's left over?
I think our business team uses this last year's design and adds some upgrades to it. So like each year, it's like a new style.
Okay. Well, before we get really into talking about the robotics team, I do like I love the t-shirts. Can you guys decide who wants to go first? Tell us a little bit about yourself, what grade you're in, and what your role is on the robotics team.
Yeah, so I'll go first on that. So my name's Dillan, and I'm a junior here at Burlington High School, and I work on building the robot as well as managing the team as a whole.
Oh, cool. So you're like manager.
Yeah, kind of.
Good resume builder.
Yeah.
All right, who's next?
I'll go next. My name is Arnesh. I'm a junior, and I work on building the robot.
Cool. Okay. Ladies?
I'm Rishitha. I'm a sophomore, and I also work on building the robot.
Cool.
I'm Shefali. I'm a junior, and I'm the electrical lead on the team. So I work on the circuit board, and I also help with mechanical, and I help mentor the new freshmen. So I'm like the master of the shop. The shop is where we like build and.
Cool. So like we have all these builders in the room. Are we going to talk about designing at all?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because you got to know what to build.
Exactly, yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. So what made you guys decide that you wanted to be on the robotics team? Because my understanding, it's a huge commitment. It's like every night of the week plus a Saturday.
Yeah, so during the build season, we meet Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and Saturday.
Oh,
so
wow.
it's about 17 hours a week. So yes, it's a big commitment during the build season.
That's like as much as you're in school almost.
Yeah, it's a lot of time, yeah.
Cool. So when is build season?
So build season is from a period from January to March, where the year's challenges are new every year.
Okay.
We get a new challenge every year, and that challenge is basically the task or game.
What your
the
robot
goal
has to do?
Of what the robot has to do. Yeah, exactly.
We're only given 6 weeks.
And so we have
Wow.
about 6 to 7 weeks to watch the game, like see what the game is,
Okay.
design a robot, build a robot, program the robot, test the robot, and then get ready to compete in 7 weeks.
Wow.
We also, in this time, during practices, we get hungry, so we have to organize food for the entire team. We have to organize like building, projects, business, competition. Because at competition, the whole aspect of it, we have to talk to other team members and other teams. So it's like
talk to other teams. You mean you want me to be
if
social?
you call it scouting, scouting is pretty cool. So that's also a major component. And they're just robotics to me is like football, both robots. because there's so many components that go inside of it, like game strategy, building the team, like getting food, like working with each other, like team spirit. There's just so much that goes into it, and I think everyone on the team is doing such a great job. Like, it's very
Cool.
nice.
Now you said scouting. Is that scouting or spying on the other teams?
I mean, it's scouting, but
Okay.
maybe a little bit of spying, you know.
Oh my gosh, you guys wouldn't believe what they're doing over there. Okay, we got interrupted. We were like supposed to be talking about why you decided to join the robotics team, and I rudely interrupted. So Dylan, were you done?
So I could talk about how I got involved in robotics.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
So yeah, we have a robotics program at the middle school that the high school robotics team actually founded.
Oh, cool.
A couple years back.
Okay.
So I think all of us got started in the middle school program.
Is it
and-
still going on?
I don't think
As of now, because
so.
of COVID, they haven't started up.
Oh,
There are
okay.
plans to start it again, yeah.
Okay.
But that's
Cool.
how all of us started.
Oh, neat. So you knew each other before?
Yeah, so we
Yeah.
all knew each other before coming to high school, and
Okay.
that helped a lot in getting started after COVID, like starting up the team again.
Why'd you want to join initially in middle school?
I just thought robots were really cool,
Well, they are. So,
and
okay.
I wanted to learn more. I think other people can talk about specifically why they joined.
Okay.
Also, in middle school, it was we were part of the FLL team, which means First Lego League. So they were Lego robots, and
Okay.
if you love robots and you love Legos, put them together, Lego robots. What else can you ask for?
That's true. But Lego, you know, your standard Lego set does not come with any electronics. So where did that component come in?
So those, I mean, the
Those weren't made of Legos, basically.
well, they were Lego pieces, but like not exactly like the standard Lego pieces.
Oh, okay.
And those were like official like robot kits that like Lego robot kits that
I didn't know they did that.
that were available at our school.
Cool. Okay.
So Lego makes a specific like kit or box,
Okay.
like dedicated with motors and a computer,
Okay.
like a central brick that you plug everything.
It's
in.
like this
Oh.
big. It's not too big. It's like
Okay.
the size of my hand, pretty much.
So it's like,
It's from like the FLL. From they sent it to
Okay.
us.
so it's, you know, official Lego issued
Yes. Yeah,
stuff.
exactly.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry. See, I learn something new every day. My kids didn't like Legos. So anyway, ladies.
I think for me, I joined the FLL team because I love the challenge it gave.
Ooh,
Because each year there's a new challenge. My first year was like a water challenge. So it was this giant board. I think it was like 10 feet by 5 feet. And there were like multiple different Lego challenges on it. So I remember this one challenge very specifically, but it was just this little wall, like Lego structure.
Okay.
And you had to take your robot and push it against the wall and slide it in something. So to
Oh,
code
okay.
that, it took a long time to like precisely get each and every single one of like the movements. But I remember
Yeah.
the feeling that when I first coded it, and then my team and I, we were like, oh my God, what's gonna happen? And then when I pressed play, and it made it in, we all celebrated, and like that solidified the feeling of robotics to me, which is why I'm
Yeah.
still doing it today.
So it's like you come up with the whole list and then just press go and your robot does it. So it's not like a remote control thing where you're.
No,
Ah,
it's very like trial and run, and like
that's hard.
my entire team, everyone would like put their codes in. We'd all test out everyone's codes. It was like a process, and like even in the high school robotics team, it's like the same thing. Like we prototype, we discuss. We were like, should we make a claw, or should we add this motor, or should we add this intake system, where how we can get the ball in? So it's like it's always so interesting because there's so many different ideas being spread, and there's always a challenge. So it's really fun.
Some challenges sound a little more challenging than others.
It is, but like once you overcome the challenge,
Okay.
that's like the best feeling.
And like figuring out the challenge, you probably need to like break it into smaller. So in order to throw the ball, you have to do this, then you have to do that. So it's, you know,
Like step by step.
yeah, breaking it down into smaller chunks. I love it, which is a very valuable skill to have, by the way, especially if you end up working with preschoolers at all. Okay.
I actually got involved in 7th grade, and I first became like interested in it because in our computer science classes, actually, we did program the Lego robots.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
I had a teacher, his name was Mr. Fatal, and we used the Mac lab to actually use the robots to like complete little challenges in our computer science class, and I was really interested with that. So I joined the robotics team in 7th grade. I was actually on Shefali's team,
Oh, cool.
and I was part of the presenting group because our robot was like supposed to solve like a world problem, I think, and we chose like the CO2 in the air. It was great, yeah.
Oh, okay.
We were called the CO2 crew, like.
I love it.
There's so many like
Did you
elements.
put that on your t-shirt?
Yeah, we did.
Oh,
We made
cool.
a t-shirt, yeah. There's so many elements that go into it, like presenting. It's not only like of making posters and stuff. You need to know how the robot works, and so we really worked with each other well.
Oh,
And
cool.
it was really fun, and so I continued it to high school.
I love it. And you're a sophomore now, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Now, do any of you, I know we're going to get to it later, but do any of you really have plans to continue in engineering or robotics or, you know, in your future careers, either like career or college, or you're like, no, I'm going to be a psychology major and your robotics is just fun. I mean, what do you want to do with the information that you're gaining now?
So I can start. I wanna it's not final yet, but I wanna pursue computer science in college and
cool.
like, as a job. So
Okay.
I guess robotics is leading up to it.
Well, you're still programming stuff, so cool. Okay.
Yeah, I want to go into mechanical engineering, and mechanical engineering is like one of the prime. You can use mechanical engineering in robotics, and that's what a lot of our design is mechanical engineering.
Oh, cool. You
So-
can use mechanical engineering for just
Exactly,
about
you can
anything.
design anything, but robots are a big thing you can design, and we use a lot of mechanical engineering to design our robot.
My dad and brother are both mechanical
That's cool.
engineers, and you know, I can embarrass my dad now. Tangent. He used his mechanical engineering skills to build a squirrel trap in our backyard. His squirrel trap consisted of a trash barrel and a 2x4 that was probably like 6 feet long, leading up to the top of the trash barrel, and then he put little peanuts all the way. And he expected the squirrel to eat the peanuts and then jump into the trash barrel. Mr. Mechanical Engineer. No, so. Yeah. Anyway, I digress. Sorry. Mechanical engineering really
Yes.
is cool. Not, despite that squirrel trap that, by the way, did not work. Squirrels are smarter than that. So, anyway,
Well, I think for me, I know that I want to be in somewhere in STEM. STEM is
Okay.
science, technology, engineering, math. I'm still deciding on exactly like where I want to go, like my exact major.
Ooh,
but I
okay.
do know that I want to do something that's related to robotics or like engineering or biology, like science, something combining it. So I think robotics has been a great gateway to understanding
cool.
like how I want my future to look like.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think I would have gotten into mechanical engineering or realized how much I love it if I had done robotics. That really opened it up for me.
oh, cool.
For me, I'm still a sophomore. I have no idea what I'm gonna do.
Are you
But-
going to join robotics next year?
Yes, I
Okay.
am. I know that I want to be in a STEM field. I
Okay.
really like science. I'm taking AP biology this year.
Oh,
So,
wow. Okay.
kind of like combining the two elements of like engineering and using it in like a science field, like research. I might want to
cool.
go into that, yeah.
That sounds neat. But it sounds like some of these skills are like transferable in non-engineering ways.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Some of the skills you learn here, like, are very useful. Like, not just for college, but like learning how to work with a team. Like, you're gonna use
Yeah.
that in any
Yeah.
job.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
Also how to interact with the other teams at competitions, how to talk to them, and how to share ideas because it's all about game strategy. So
Oh,
learning about
okay.
that is also very important too. And we have a
And-
business team as well, so
What was
Yeah.
that?
we have a business team.
Oh, a business team.
Yeah.
Okay, what does a business team do?
Well, so they write grants
Okay.
and they give us food.
They buy the food, they buy the robot parts. Yeah, they're important.
They help us fund the entire team because we only get money through companies and through grants and through donations.
Okay.
So without any money, we can't participate in the competition because it's very expensive. It's like $6,000.
Wow.
One company.
Just
And you
that's just
probably-
to register.
And
Yeah.
that's just to
There's
register.
even more. So like our
Wow.
business team is always trying to like help us, and so they're
Okay.
always working very hard. And
So technically, they're on the robotics team, but
They
they're
are.
on the business
Yeah, exactly.
side of things.
Aspect of it.
Within the robotics team, there's a lot of people who don't directly work on the robot, but are still crucial in
Oh,
ensuring the success of the team.
cool. So there's the business team. You guys all build. It sounded like you were mostly on the build team. What other teams are there?
There's
There's
also
scouting.
the programming team.
Program
scouting
team. Okay. So programming is separate from building. So it's like the software side of the hardware.
Exactly.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
Shefali is like in the middle of that because she's working in the electrical board, and so
Yeah.
she needs to know how like the programming works and how it will work in the
Oh.
robot.
I'm like the
Yeah.
gateway between them
Yeah,
because
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
I have to, after we build a robot, we bring it out, the coding team like works on it, but if something bad happens to the robot, like say the robot stops moving,
Okay.
then I have to go down there and try to figure out what's going on. Maybe the
Ah.
battery is not plugged in, maybe a wire got loose, maybe a piece, like a bolt got out, so both
Wow.
working together.
When worlds collide.
No. As long as you know, just know where the fire extinguisher is, just in case. Now you mentioned, all the different parts. How do you figure out, like, I know they probably go hand in hand because the business team has to figure out the budget and where all that money is going to come from, but you also have to build and design the robot to know what parts you need. So is that part of the 6-week planning process?
It's the whole
It's
process.
that's all the time you get to do everything.
What if stuff gets back ordered? I mean, come on.
Yeah, so a lot of stuff you need to have bought before.
Yeah.
And we use common parts like
Can
through
you take
every
apart
season.
last year's robot?
Yeah, we can do
Yeah.
that. Yeah. So like parts like wood and aluminum and like certain motors, like we use those every season, so we can have those in stock and ready to go.
And are they like battery powered?
Yeah,
so
Or
everything's
is it like
battery
a really
powered.
long extension cord?
No.
No,
So
battery
most of
powered.
the things we need to buy, we can get easily, like wood or plexiglass, because we
Okay.
already have nuts and bolts. Like we already have most of the things we need. It's
Okay.
just the things like we do need to get, like wood, like a certain size plexiglass. Those are really hard to
Okay.
find, especially we're in a budget. So yeah.
And a global pandemic
Mhm.
still, so you might have to wait 6 weeks. What happens? Well, you probably don't know what happens if like parts are on back order. Do you have to like figure out what can be substituted?
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
that's
we have to
exactly.
figure out.
Or we just scratch that plan, move on to another plan.
Yeah, so sometimes if a part's back ordered, there's usually always more than one solution to do something.
Yeah.
So sometimes
Okay.
you just got to move on. So that's part of the challenge of building a robot in 6 to 7 weeks is
Yeah.
sometimes you can't always get all the parts you need.
Okay, so were you guys all on the team last year?
Yes.
Yes.
Did you have to build a robot last year?
Yes.
Yes.
Now, sorry, tangent. You guys were at, was it Truck Day or Celebrate Burlington with a robot that launched rockets?
Celebrate Burlington.
Celebrate Burlington. Was that the same robot for competition?
That was our other robot. So we have
There's
like
more than one?
we have like a frisbee bot. We're gonna throw
Oh, I remember
frisbees.
that one.
We have
Is there
the
a
other
soccer
one.
ball one, or did
I
that
think
one
there is.
There might have been a couple years ago.
long time
Yeah.
ago? Yeah.
Maybe we disassembled that one for parts,
As we noted before the show, I started volunteering here long before you guys were even born. So, my memory is a little skewed. Okay, so you had the robot, rocket launching robot for fun. Now, where did that come from?
So like right now we're in off season.
Okay.
So because our actual season starts in January.
Right, and that's when the 6 weeks, 6 to 8 week
begins.
thing
Yeah.
starts.
So
okay.
then before January, this time is actually very crucial. So right now we're mentoring the new members on our team. Like we're
Okay.
teaching them what's going on the team, like how it works, the structure, how like the shop is. The shop is like where we build.
And is the shop like physically in the high school?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's in
Oh,
the
well, that's cool.
yeah.
Okay.
So we're like teaching the freshmen and like other new members like the basics of robotics 101. And then on the side, we're building tiny robots as for fun, but also to teach ourselves, to teach the new members like how to build,
And how to program?
like how to do everything. Because when 6 weeks starts, it's like everyone needs to be on board.
Right. And there's like there's a mission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You need to be very like focused on what you're doing because you don't have a lot of time. And so having a team that really knows what they're doing before that starts is really helps you out a lot.
So Shefali, you just mentioned that you the older team members mentor the younger team members. Well, you guys are still in high school and you haven't graduated with a PhD in mechanical engineering yet. So how do you learn?
So
Well,
there.
You can go.
So there are like older mentors who have like adult mentors who have
Okay.
mentored and like volunteered their time for the past few years.
Dean.
Yeah, shout out to Dean.
Shout out to Dean.
Go Dean! Go Dean! Okay.
Um,
Thank you, Dean. More than
so
one shout out.
they teach us the basics, and then they also help guide us through the season, and like it's kind of experience based. The more experience you have,
Okay.
the more you're able to like teach the younger students. So
Okay.
it's kind of passed on like that.
Okay.
Yeah, the
But
pass
there
on
was
of
somebody
knowledge-
there because inevitably you're going to come across something that you guys as juniors have never experienced before. And it's like, okay, we need some help over here. So, okay,
There's also great resources online. Like there's forums.
okay.
Well, there's
YouTube
like
videos.
there's 3,000 other robotics teams doing the same competition.
Wow.
Across
So
the
that's
world.
why you guys are number 2876.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there
Yeah.
are 2875, 2874.
Yep.
There are, yeah.
2877, we beat them in competition.
Yeah.
There's like, you met team number 1.
Do you guys get a new number every year based on how you
No.
The,
know?
the number is just based on when you register your team.
Oh.
So like the
And
newer teams will have lower
To add on
numbers.
to Arnesh's point about like our team, it's entirely student led. So
Oh,
us students, we are in charge of building the robot. We are in charge of sustaining the entire team. And the mentors are like teachers. Like they just help us if we like need help. And they don't like, they guide us.
Okay.
If we're like, oh, we need help building this because we don't want to like, because there's like we use power tools that are very dangerous. So mentors stand next to us so we don't like cut ourselves and we stay safe because we are still like learning.
So BattleBots is out of the question for
It's out of
next
the question.
competition.
Yeah.
Okay.
We
Unfortunately.
definitely have a requirement for mentors because with power tools and especially with younger like people and teaching them how to use the power tools.
Okay.
So it's a requirement for us to have a mentor standing with us as we use the power tools. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Who also happens to be first aid certified.
Safety first.
Safety first.
Yeah.
Yes. Good mantra. All right. So also the smaller robots kind of teach you the skills because, you know, like there are 6 simple machines. They're probably basic robot codes or basic coding that depending on what language is it? Is it its own?
We program
Coding
in
language?
Java, the language Java.
Oh, okay. Which is also a valuable skill to have.
Exactly. That you can use, especially if you go into computer science.
Okay.
You can totally use that because that language is used.
So you have
in the
Java
industry.
language and Java coffee to keep you awake.
Exactly.
These
While you're
17-hour
programming Java.
things.
Yeah.
Okay. How big's the team?
It's like 30 people.
Yeah.
Ballpark.
30
Yeah.
people.
30 people.
30 students, and then around
6 mentors.
6
Six, yeah.
mentors. Yeah.
Okay. Now, are the mentors usually carryovers from year to year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Usually, yeah.
They usually stay for long periods of time.
Yeah.
Now, do they have to have like students in? Do they have students in the program or?
Some don't. Some
Okay.
have had, like Dean, his son already graduated,
Okay.
but he's still been part of the team because he loves robotics. So it's like, you don't have
He gets to build things.
You don't have to have like your child on the team to be a mentor.
Okay. And you have to like be a teacher in the school or
No.
just have some background in engineering
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
okay.
Even
Or
then,
budgeting.
yeah,
or-
background in business. We don't just need to build a robot.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And most backgrounds are useful to us. We're always looking for help.
Now, if you want to join the robotics team, or like you had mentioned, you're in charge of the electrical crew.
Yeah.
Is that an appointed position? Is it an elected position? Is it just, because you're junior and you know more than the freshmen? How are you assigned to the build team or the programming team, or are you assigned, or do you just like say, I want to build a robot?
Well, in the past, before COVID,
Okay.
we used to like the team used to have like elections on each captain on each of like the sub-level teams, like
Okay.
business, electrical, mechanical.
So there is like a captain. Okay.
Yeah. But then because after COVID, we started off completely rookie. Like we decided our own rules, and like now, how we based it is that last year the people who have worked the most and people who have most experience have become the captains this year.
Okay.
So then we can pass on our knowledge and also learn new things.
Okay. So you're a role model.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Do you think that'll continue, or do you think you'll go back to the pre-COVID ways? Well, you guys will probably be long since graduated, but
I don't know. We'll see what the future holds for us.
Yeah.
Right now, I think we're just going based off of what everyone does on the team, what they're passionate about. But I feel like both systems work in their own ways.
okay.
Sorry, I forgot what I was gonna say. I forgot what I was.
Okay.
I can say. So, as for the newcomers, like the freshmen or even like sophomores or juniors or even seniors who want to try out robotics for the first time. So this year, what we had them do is we set up stations where a group of the newcomers would rotate around each station, experience all of the mechanical, electrical, programming, business, all of that, all of the sub levels,
Okay.
and then they would choose their favorite, which one they enjoyed the most, and then they're dedicated to that.
Oh, cool. Okay. So you get to kind of like try before you buy. So you're not
Exactly, yeah.
stuck for the whole year.
Yeah. We don't assign anyone to anywhere. It's more of like, because what's the point if you don't like what you're doing? Then
Well, true, but you don't want, out of 30 people, you don't want 27 on the build team.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
But usually we've had good
Turnouts.
turnouts
Okay.
for each
And it's-
sub team. Yeah.
Okay, so it kind of levels itself out.
Exactly, yeah.
Anyway.
If you have 30 people, usually it evens itself out
Okay.
pretty well.
I mean, not exact, but
Right.
just,
Yeah. But it's good enough.
you don't
where
want
can work with it.
27 on this team and then one,
Yeah.
one, and one, because that would
Yeah.
just, that'd be a lot of budgeting for one person and a lot of food to buy. Now, both of you young ladies mentioned that you're interested in STEM careers and you want to. So, being the old lady that I am, I'm just curious about the gender stereotypes and how does that carry over into the robotics team? Because generally, studies have shown that starting in like first grade, girls are told not to like math, and you kind of have to do a lot of math. So, the makeup of the team, are there noticeably fewer girls on the team, or is it sort of equal?
Well, in middle school robotics team, I remember in 8th grade, I was one of the only people working on the robot as like electrical mechanical because a lot of girls were forced to not. It was like there was a little bit back then, but I feel like now in high school, it's getting better.
Okay.
I think we're progressing in a positive way because we are getting more girls like each year. Like last year, we only had like 3 or 4. And then this year, I think we have like 8 or 9.
Okay.
So I think each year, like we're getting more girls enthusiastic about. Is that a word? I don't know.
Enthusiastic,
Yeah, we're getting more girls into it, and I feel like we are breaking like the stereotypes because a lot of the girls we're all working on build.
Yeah.
We're doing whatever we want to do, and we're
Yeah.
all active members of the team.
But there's definitely no like norms or like
Yeah.
like expectations placed on us. We're
Okay.
allowed to do anything we want, and then anyone can join the team. Like, it's free to anyone in the school, and especially in Burlington, I don't think there's like much of like a problem with
Okay. Well,
gender norms.
I'm
yeah.
just,
Yeah.
just coming from the old lady standpoint where,
And like women in STEM, it's becoming a big
Well,
thing now.
yeah, and it's like over the past, probably in your entire academic career, there's been a lot of push to make it available equally and to break down those stereotypes. And I'm just wondering if,
Yeah.
if personally you've been impacted, but it sounds like you're more on a level playing field, which is pretty cool. I'm happy to hear that. So, okay, moving right along into the season. Who decides what kind of robot is being built?
So so what happens is first week of January,
Okay,
there is on a Saturday,
of course.
of course, on a Saturday.
Because you guys don't really want your Saturdays to do anything. Okay, sorry.
The FRC, which stands for First Robotics Competition, I think.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
They're the organization. They send out a kickoff video,
Okay,
which is live, and our whole team watches it.
okay.
And that video has all of the challenges for like I don't think I mentioned it yet, but each year there's a new challenge.
Okay.
So each year we get a
So
new kickoff video.
What's like a challenge?
Like throwing balls in like a big hoop.
Okay, so
carrying
they tell you
balls.
what your robot's supposed to do, not
Exactly.
necessarily like it has to be able to throw something. But
No.
Exactly.
okay.
You have a challenge, and it's up to you to figure out how you're going to solve
It's
the
like
challenge.
live demos of a
And does
robot.
everybody have the same, like everybody
Yeah.
nationally have the same
Yeah.
challenge? Or
Yes.
it's like, here, you get to pick this or that?
No, everyone in the world one
Oh,
challenge.
wow,
And it's all
okay.
live at like one time.
So, but in one like year or one game, there's multiple like challenges you can
Like
do. Multiple
sub-challenges?
elements, yeah.
Yeah.
So like for this year, for example, there's a high hoop you can shoot balls into. There's a lower hoop, and then there's also like a climbing area where you have to like lift your robot up a certain height
Wow,
to get
okay.
points.
Have you seen monkey bars?
Yeah.
Imagine a
Yeah.
robot doing monkey bars.
Wow.
That's exactly how it looked like.
Yeah, but
Like,
instead of monkey
a-
bars, it's like inclined.
And
It's
like one of them could like twist and was like loose, so our robot had to like climb those bars. It's crazy.
Oh, wow. So what was last year's? Was last year's the...
Yeah.
yeah, that was last year's. Yeah.
Okay. And how'd you guys do? I mean, what did the robot have to do? Was the ball shooting
Yeah.
Yeah.
and the monkey bars?
Yep.
I like that. I'm just, picturing,
A robot doing monkey bars.
Wall-E doing, the movie Wall-E.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, continue. So then what happens after they show you this, like, opening video and you're all gathered eating donuts?
We are eating
Courtesy
donuts.
of-
We were actually eating donuts last year.
This is Saturday morning!
I mean, after
exactly.
the video, we built the challenges so we can actually see them. We read through the manual, read through the
Okay.
handbook, so we can.
So you
like,
built
learn
the
rules.
challenges, not the robot to complete the
No,
challenges.
no, the challenges, and they were. Yeah.
So
and
like you built the hoops and the monkey
Yep,
bars.
exactly.
Yeah, we built the hoops.
Okay.
And then after we built it, we all discussed as a team. We all split into like little partners, and we all like went up to each other and discussed what we want to do, like our game strategy. Like,
Okay.
oh, the robot should first go shoot this hoop and then climb this bar, or the robot should climb that bar then shoot this hoop.
Okay.
Because it's a lot more intricate than you think. Because in the beginning we have 15.
My mind is ready to explode because it seems really intricate. So continue.
We have 15 seconds of autonomous. Autonomous means that we can't touch the robot, we can't control anything, and the robot can do something by itself.
Okay. And does it have to be one of those challenges, or could it just
It
be?
can do anything. So
anything,
I think if
okay.
it moved back behind it, so it all starts in one line, and if it moved back behind that line, then we'll get points.
Oh. Okay.
So we had to all discuss like, oh, do you want the robot to move back or just stay in place? And then
Okay.
we're only, I believe it's 2 minutes we have of the game itself.
Yeah.
So it's not
Yeah.
that much time. And have you played basketball? When
Yes.
you shoot hoops, it takes time for you to like get the ball in the hoop.
Well, I'm also
So-
thinking 2 minutes is a really long time too.
Yeah.
You know, it's 2 minutes, but when you're actually sitting there focusing on it,
It's a
Yeah.
lot.
it's an eternity. Okay.
And then, so we have to discuss like what we want to accomplish in each like second of the time because
Okay.
each second is so important.
So you break it down into
Like
120
minutes.
seconds.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
we all discussed, and after we all shared our opinions and thoughts, we all just like conversed on what we want this season to look like, what we want the robot to do.
Okay.
And we spent like the first week discussing challenges, the robot structure. We like designed robot ideas, like what we want to be on the robot, like what intake system or transfer
Okay.
system. Intake is like when it's just like this is intake, like I'm grabbing it, and then
Okay.
transfer is like moving it.
Okay.
Yeah. So that
Got
we were
it.
discussing like we want our intake or transfer system to be because we had to shoot balls and like it was
Did they tell you how big the ball's supposed to be?
It was
I'm
like-
Yeah.
you know, throwing a tennis ball is a lot different than throwing a beach ball.
Yeah, exactly. This year's balls were basically enlarged tennis balls. I believe they were about like 8.5 or 9.5 inches.
Okay, because that would also play a pretty significant
Yeah,
role.
absolutely.
in-
Yeah. A lot of challenges involve throwing balls, but just by changing, like 2 years ago, the challenge was throwing balls, but rather than throwing a big pretty firm oversized tennis ball,
Uh-huh.
you had to throw a smaller dodgeball,
Okay.
and
Could
the
you
whole-
have it like be a ball cannon and just like
Yeah, exactly.
vacuum it up and spit it out?
yeah,
or
people
something?
did that, and the whole game element was different. Like you could hold 5 balls, whereas this year you could only hold 2 balls.
Oh,
So
okay.
just because you're shooting balls like 2 years in a row, like they can like totally change up the challenge. Like,
Right.
the strategy could be
Yeah.
totally different.
And then the monkey bar thing is an extra challenge.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep referring to the monkey bar.
and then
thing.
like each thing has its own point value.
Okay, now do you know about these point values in advance? So you
Yeah.
In the
could say,
kickoff.
In the
In the
kickoff
kickoff.
video.
Yeah.
okay, so they're like, if it does this, it gets 5 points, but if it does this, it gets 3 points.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you're
yeah.
probably like, I think we're gonna figure out how to do the 5-point thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The
Exactly.
strategy is what we figure out like the first couple of days. Like we have to
That's
figure
why
out
it's super important.
what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got to know what to build.
Exactly.
Got to know what parts to buy. Speaking of parts, though, are there parameters on how big or how small your robot can be?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
There's a lot of rules. So on kickoff,
Okay.
first robotics competition, like the organization that creates the challenges,
Okay.
they released a 250-page document outlining every single rule of what can and
That's a
can't
lot
be
of
done.
donuts and coffee.
Some teams
Yeah.
read everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, over our whole team, we probably read the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, we like
We
break
like
it off.
split it into
Yeah, we split it
groups.
into.
Do
Everyone
they send you a
highlighted
hard copy
everything.
of this?
No, it's a
Okay.
PDF. We print it
Online.
out, but
Yeah, we printed it out. Yeah.
Like, okay, that could be used as a weapon, 250 pages.
so
Okay.
basically that outlines how big the robot can be.
Okay.
Basically every rule you can think of is outlined in that document.
Okay.
So then there's a ton of rules on robot weight, like how big it can be,
Okay.
how tall it can be, that's all really restricted.
And weight,
Yeah.
whether it's
Yeah.
made out of, iron or
Yeah.
plastic.
And there's also like you can only use certain parts for certain things, like only certain motors are allowed.
Okay.
Yeah. But like some parts are like what you build your robot out of is generally up to you.
Okay.
Like you can build it out of wood, metal, aluminum,
Okay.
steel, like whatever you want basically.
Hmm.
As long as you can fit it in the weight limit.
Yeah.
They have
But-
very strict rules.
Yeah, when it comes to electronics, your rules are usually more like
Oh,
locked down.
I'm just kind of thinking here, I wonder why they had to come up with some of these rules. If people tried, bending the rules or
Oh,
going outside of
absolutely.
those
It's
parameters.
because at competition, before we even like go to competition, they had to inspect our robot
Oh,
to
wow.
Yeah, they
make sure
inspect
that
the
like
robot.
it's okay that we follow all the rules. Because if you're thinking about it, imagine like 6 robots all like going at the same time, banging into each other. It's dangerous
Yeah.
because like you don't know what's gonna happen.
They have them all do them at the same time?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like a
It's like a
it's like a
competition.
competition. Yeah.
Football
So there's
game.
alliances, like the red alliance and blue alliance, and there's 3 robots on each.
Oh.
And so then each game, each round, we're given new alliances, new teams.
So that's why you have to go scout the
Exactly.
other
Yeah.
teams.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of
Oh.
teamwork. So you get your
Okay.
match schedule at the beginning of the day,
Okay.
and you have your scouts go out and talk to each team. Like, say like we can shoot in the high goal while you shoot in the low goal, or you can climb on the high bar, we climb on the medium bar, or like sometimes you play defense on teams. Like if one team is really good and you can't score as many points, you would just basically do what you can to disrupt the other team from scoring as much as they can.
Oh.
So the strategy,
But
like
how do you do that before any of the competitions start? Because you don't know which team in that alliance is better.
It's because like when we build a robot, say we build a robot being like, oh, this robot's perfect at shooting high hoops. And then say on our alliance, we're like, oh, we're partnered with 180 and they're amazing at the monkey bars. And you can only do the monkey bars in the last 30 seconds of the game. So we can like be like, okay, I'll shoot hoops and then I'll protect you so you can go climb the monkey bars. It's like this, it's a lot of thinking that goes into it. Or like say we have a team robot, like, I don't know, 903. And 903's motor shut off, so it can't shoot or it can't do anything. Then we'll tell 903, okay, then you just have to like attack the other team so we can do the work.
Okay.
And they usually do that, and then they get pretty far. And some teams, I know last year, have got into states because they're really good at defense.
Wow. Okay.
So it's like, yeah, and then on the alliances themselves, you earn points with your team members. It's all combined together.
Okay.
So it's not like a solo. It's like it's a teamwork, not just our team.
So you're able to reprogram your robot, but
well,
you can modify it.
okay, because I'm like, how do you tell your robot, okay, go attack the blue team?
So it's controller based.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it is control. Okay.
It's not like FLL. No.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm
So
like, that's a lot of code.
for,
Yeah,
for the
no.
first 15 seconds of the
So
match, it's
okay, so
autonomous.
part of it is pre-programmed. Robot just
Exactly. For the
goes
first
and
Just
does its
15
control
thing,
it. Yeah.
and then
for the next
after
2 minutes
that-
and 15 seconds, there was a driver controlling it. Yeah.
okay.
And so on your
which
alliance,
I'm not saying that that's easier. I'm just thinking that's
it would be kind of a lot to ask to make it all automated.
yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay.
And so one other thing with the alliances is that your alliance per match is like randomized. So like you don't get the same alliance every time.
Okay.
You could get like a really, really good team that's really good at shooting. So maybe you go play defense. But
Okay.
in the next match, maybe you're the best shooter. So the other team go plays defense. So you really got to strategize like per each match. Like what are you gonna do? There's a lot of strategy that goes into it, like at the competition.
Wow.
So stuff you have to figure out
So-
there.
How long? Oh, so one round is like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
2 to 3 minutes.
So how much time do you get? Do you have to do all of the strategizing before it even starts, or is
Yeah.
it like between each match? Okay,
Usually-
this time you're going to be teamed up with these guys. So figure out your strategy in the next 15 minutes, and then we're going to.
Yeah, that's usually how it works. So you get your match schedule in the morning. So the competitions are usually Saturday into Sunday.
We have
Okay.
one this Saturday.
Yeah.
Fun.
So you get your match schedule in the morning, and that'll tell you like when your match is. You about play every 6th match. So usually you have
okay,
about
So you don't do
Yeah.
everyone.
no. Usually you have about 5 matches in between. Sometimes you have like 3. Sometimes you only have like 2 matches in between. So you got to really rush. So if something breaks, you got to hurry up.
Okay.
But sometimes you have like 13 matches in between. So it varies. But in the time in between each match, usually your scouts are going to be going to talk to the other teams and
Okay.
strategize before.
Oh, okay. I thought like all the strategizing had to be done before
No,
10 o'clock
no.
in the morning, and then, okay, let's go. You know, because I keep thinking, BattleBots and stuff. So, anyway, very limited, which is why you guys are here to enlighten me, because between Wally and BattleBots, that's about all I know about robots. So, what else? Tell me more. What am I forgetting? What am
Well-
I forgetting?
There's one important component about the robot is that after its match, it's
Yeah.
busted. Like, 'cause it just like fully played out. It was shooting hoops, it was climbing bars, it was playing defense, it was playing offense. So then after we get to take the robot and bring it back to our pit.
Okay.
Have you seen Cars?
Of course.
Do you know when Lightning McQueen, after he needs his tires renewed,
Yes.
and there's a pit crew?
Yes.
Well, we're also a pit crew to the robot.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's
okay.
super cute. But we bring the robot in, and we have to ask the drive team. Drive team are the people who like drive the robot, like that
Okay.
control it on the field. And we ask them like, did you see any problems? Were there any difficulties? And sometimes they're like, no.
So
but
you're
then-
not allowed to like be with them during the competition.
Well, there's one person, pit crew technician,
Oh, okay.
and in the past, like I can see it, but like I don't know exactly how the coding's working because I'm not like right next to them.
Okay.
Because we just sit in the side, but we asked them if they had any difficulties, and then if they're like no, we're like okay, but we still check it. But if they're like yes, then we have like 10 to 15 minutes to like figure out the
Okay.
problem, and that's
So like all of a sudden it's only turning left.
yeah,
that
happens.
happens, actually.
Yeah.
And then a lot of things happen. Like I remember one time our motor like started going on fire, so
Yeah, our motor-
we had to like we had to unscrew it, and then I had to solder it in like mid-air because like our table was like all messy, and then we put it back together. But like it all worked
And you
out.
still have all your fingers, and they have okay.
We all like did our best, and I think because of that, like the pressure and the time, everyone comes closer together in those moments because we're all like friends trying to like work
We're all
together.
freaking out.
And that's why the build season and this season is super important because we're like teaching. We're also learning on like how to work with these robots.
Okay.
So then it leads us up
And working
to
with each other.
exactly. So then finally, when we're at pit crew, if something bad happens, we're all like ready to.
Okay, so
approach
what
it.
happens if like your motor does catch on fire or something? How do you fix that? How much time do you have to fix it, and what happens if you can't fix it in time?
So you should have until your next match, and
Okay.
if you can't fix it, then I guess
Yes.
you have a
You're out of the match.
Yeah,
out
you
of the
don't
match.
compete.
Which can like
Now, are you out for the rest of the day,
No.
or
No,
just
only
that
for the
one?
next match.
Which can
Okay, so
take
you
a
lose
big
some points,
toll.
but not all your points.
It also
Yeah.
depends on like what's broken. Like for example, if your shooter's broken in like this year's challenge, not this year, last year's challenge, you would work on defending, like just defending while the other team
Okay.
shoots. So it really depends on which part is broken, and also
Okay.
like the challenging part is like if a motor's broken, like that's very hard to replace. But if like a nut like falls out or like it's only turning left, like those are
Okay.
some things we can fix. Yeah.
And usually there's multiple ways to solve a problem. Like the only turning left thing,
Yeah.
usually our programmers can implement
Yeah.
a temporary software fix to fix it. You
I
know.
think it'd be fun if it, well, okay, not a competition, but if it were just, for
Yeah.
fun, have it just turn left all the time.
Yeah.
Do you have like extra parts, like an extra motor, or is it up to you
Yeah.
to like solder everything or
No, we have
welding?
this like giant
Yeah.
cabinet. We're actually building another one right now, but it has like this boxes and boxes of screws, nuts, bolts, screwdrivers, hammers, like any tool you can imagine.
Okay.
It's like our workshop in the high school,
So
but
it's
like
a mobile shop.
a mini version of
Yeah,
it. Yeah. So
basically.
everything is there, like all power tools, like power drills. We have everything. So in case anything ever happens, like we have the tools to fix it. And FRC also gives us tools because they have their own table out there.
Okay.
So if you need something, you can go ask them and they'll give it to you as well.
Okay.
And other teams can also give it
Yeah.
to you. If you walk around and you're like, hey, can I borrow a motor? They're like, yeah, sure. And they give it to you. So it's like a very
Yeah, here's our broken one.
That's one part of FIRST that's very important. It's called gracious professionalism, and it's you basically help each other out
Yeah.
when you need to.
We also make pins. We
Yeah.
have like memes on our pins and we like give them out to all
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
teams coming by.
So you like trade?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
the environment at
basically.
competition is really good because everybody's really competitive. Yeah, but at the end of the day, you're supposed to help each other out.
In the
and it's really
stands, we have like chants, like
Yeah.
Red Alliance, da, 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 da. And then like for Blue Alliance, and then we're all like cheering each other on. It's like it feels so like energetic.
Oh,
Everyone like we
cool.
always wear like for drive team we wear like Mario hats, and then we have like Mario mustaches as well. And then we have
my
like
gosh,
we
I
wear
love
like
it.
devil ears. Like in the beginning, they introduce all the teams, right? They're like 2876, and we're all like we like
Yeah, we,
bang
like,
on like
cheer.
this.
Because
like, a
you're
little-
Red Devil, so you have
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a sporting event. Like you're cheering, and
Yeah.
like you're cheering for your team.
And then our
It's really
entire
cool.
team's like cheering for us, and we have these like giant props, like face paint, glitter, tutus. We like boas. Like
Do you ever put like the tutu on the robot?
we could. I'm down for that.
As
We
long as
painted
it
the
doesn't.
robot last
As long as it doesn't interfere with the
Yeah.
shooting
That's
or the monkey bars.
Probably against the rules, given that there's
But like
250
no, like not
pages.
during comp, but
Yeah,
like
yeah, I know,
during
I'm just joking.
practice.
Yeah.
But like there's just so much, and it's super exciting being there. I'm like so excited for Saturday because it'll be so fun. Everyone's always like hyping each other up.
So on Saturday we have what's called an off-season competition. So
Okay.
our
Where's this competition?
and Manchester High School.
Oh, okay.
So our build season's January to February,
Okay.
and then our competition season where we compete like for that year is in March to April.
Oh, okay.
And so you compete like you go for like a whole weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You compete
Wow.
like we just talked about at these
Can you
competitions.
tweak your robot between
Yeah, yeah.
during the competition season?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully your robot's like pretty finalized, but obviously you might have to make some modifications. And we did add stuff last year, like last minute, obviously.
Okay.
But like after the summer, we're going to this off-season competition.
Okay.
So it's an unofficial competition.
So what robot are you bringing to
It's
that?
so it's the
Last
same
year's
challenge,
robot.
but it's kind of like just a for fun, like for practice
Oh,
competition.
okay.
So that's what we're going to on Saturday. It's
Get
kind
your
of like
brain in
exactly.
gear
It's for
again.
learning, and it's the same. You use the same robot as last year.
Okay, before you pillage it for
Yeah.
Exactly.
next
Yeah.
year's.
It's called River Rage.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we have a few minutes left, and I'm just curious, I'm going to ask all of you, so you can start thinking about it now. What was the coolest or best thing that ever happened in your robotic career? And so that the best thing and then the worst thing. Like the worst thing could be, it only turned left, or, somebody want to go? And you don't have to go both, right, I'm just kind of curious.
So I can start us off. Like this is kind of related. Well, it is in robotic. It was at this year's competition, but it's more like so. There's a position called the human player, which I filled in, and
Okay.
basically you don't go on the field with the robots.
Okay.
You don't. Oh, then
That's
I
kinda
wouldn't
what
have
I-
my
okay.
legs.
Okay. So the human player.
So this year, the human player's task was during the 15-minute autonomous period where all the robots are doing their own stuff.
15 seconds.
Or 15 seconds,
Okay.
my bad.
No, that's okay. I just wanted to make sure I was following.
Yeah. We're given one ball, and we have one attempt to shoot it all the way into the upper hoop
okay.
or lower hoop, but that's almost impossible. And basically, if we make it, you got 4 points for the team, and that's actually pretty huge because, like the total amount, like average total score was around 60-ish points
Okay.
for each
4 is
team.
a pretty big chunk.
4 is pretty good, and so basically, I remember making my first shot. It like hit the rim, bounced straight up. I turned away. It went in, and the only reason I got to know that it went in because everyone started cheering.
Oh my gosh. You're like, wait, rewind. I
Yeah.
want to see it again.
It's a really far shot.
Yeah.
It's like a half-court shot in basketball.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
from here to like all the way back
Yeah,
there.
it's
We had
Wow.
a meme about
Past the
that
door.
one on our pins. We had a meme.
Yeah,
about
the
Yeah,
human
like
player.
the human
Yeah.
player, like with the
Yeah,
LeBron
we edited
James,
his
like-
face on Steph Curry.
Yeah,
You're famous.
exactly. I'll take
Immortalized in the world of robotics.
So that was my best memory from high school robotics.
That is cool. Well, we'll give you time to think about something else. One of you guys.
I think my best was when we perfected our prototype shooter.
Oh, okay.
So basically, in January, beginning of January, we were deciding on what we wanted to build, and we decided on building a shooter. So it was like this structure, like a C-shaped. So then the
Okay.
ball enters through here, then it goes up, and then it
Okay.
goes all the way up, and then the upper hoop is like pretty high. It's like
8 feet.
8 feet in the air.
Wow.
So it was hard, but we built a prototype that was like a C-shaped. It was wooden. There was motors in between to have the ball go
Okay.
forward. And we were all like kind of scared, like, is this gonna work? Is this not
Yeah.
gonna work? So then we had the real life hoop in front of us, and we had the shooter prototype right here. We made this little block, this little like cargo block like below it. We put it on the top, and then we press play, press play, and we put the ball in, and then it went straight in the hoop, and we all celebrated. It was so
Yeah.
like
Wait, let's do
felt-
it again. Make sure it wasn't an accident.
Yeah.
It felt so good
Oh
that
my
like
gosh, it
our
must.
hard work finally paid off, and that was one of my best feelings ever.
Yay. Okay, let's scrap worst moments. Okay, you guys in the back. What's your favorite memory? What's your best memory?
My favorite memory. So last year I was a freshman. I was still really new to the team, and during competitions I was scouting. So that was really fun. But I feel like the best moment for me, it wasn't one moment, but Dillan asked me to paint the robot.
and so I painted like this little logo on the
Okay.
robot and like on the shooter, and seeing it come together and like used in competitions, it was really like it was
Oh,
a nice
wow.
feeling. Like I painted that like
Yeah.
on a robot.
It's my robot. My work.
Yeah. My
Fun.
my favorite moment was probably at our first competition.
Okay.
So I was the one driving the robot last season.
Okay. And
And,
you drive it like every competition?
Yeah.
Okay.
We go to 2 competitions and I drove.
Oh,
both times,
okay.
Yeah. But one of my favorite moments was on the monkey bars. All 3 members of our alliance were able to get on the monkey bars, and that was just a great moment because you get a lot of points
Wow.
for that. Yeah. And that was just really
Cool.
fun. Yeah.
Okay, backing up a little bit. I love those stories. Those are yay. When you mentioned the beginning of the build season, so first Saturday in January, you get the 250 pages, you get the video, and then you mentioned that you start building. When you go to the competitions, do you have to provide like the arena, like the hoop and the monkey bars, or is it
No.
just that you have your own to practice and then
Yeah.
you have to go use theirs?
Yeah. Exactly.
They
it's
set it up
theirs.
themselves. It's like professional everything. There's just
Okay.
workers. They're like volunteers
Okay.
from FRC. There's like 30 of them. They're always around. They're working on the field. They're like setting everything up.
Okay.
So it's if it's like if the hoops are off center, then teams can complain about it and have them change it.
Oh,
They're like that
okay.
particular on it because people have coded it based off of the manual.
The specs. That's
Yeah.
why you have the specs. Okay.
So it's like each round they reset everything up. If like I
Okay.
remember one time like the floor was a little bit rugged, so they had to reset the floor. They had to like straighten it out. It's very particular on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and everything's like electronic on the field. So all like it counts like the number of balls that went in, like all electronic,
okay.
and everything's like made of metal and it's all like computerized and stuff. So
Engineers made it,
And-
so it's
yeah.
very like.
and I'd
what
be
could
willing to
possibly go wrong?
I'd be willing to bet that FRC alumni built like designed
Oh,
all this
I'm sure.
technology.
That's how they get
Yeah.
everybody to come back. It's
Because all
like,
the electronics is what we're doing. Just
you
at a higher
guys
level,
had
yeah.
great stories, so don't you just want to see more of those great
Yeah,
stories?
exactly.
So, what do you think? What would you like to see happen for this year's challenge?
Well, I'd like to see our build season be like more organized and more like on a schedule. Like
Okay.
last year, we had no idea what we were doing. We kind of just like went along with the flow, and
Okay.
we barely finished our robot in time.
Oh,
and we had,
okay.
and I had very little time to like practice driving it, and that was one of
Okay.
my biggest downsides. Like if the driver hasn't practiced, it's really hard to like
Okay.
perform well in competition. So this season, I want to make sure that we manage the timeline better, and so that we have more time to drive practice.
Well, thinking of that, so you guys, I know, so last year was in person, but the year before that was the whole hybrid not really being
Yeah.
in real life. Everything was
Yeah.
remote. So last year was really your first opportunity
Exactly.
Yeah,
to
Yeah.
exactly.
Rookie team.
rookie team, yeah, even if you'd been in it the year before.
Yeah, exactly.
So now you guys are pros. You got this whole thing down. But you know what? We're out of time. So thank you guys so much. I'm so excited. I think I'm gonna have to get the address for your competition, so maybe I'll just show up. But anyway, I want to thank everyone at home for tuning in this evening. I hope that you are as excited and just really cool about STEM stuff and robots and supporting today's high school students because they really do a lot of stuff, really cool stuff. So anyway, thank you very much for tuning in, and I will see you around town. Good night.